Hello and welcome to House Call. I am Dr. Rueben Brock and I am here today with Khamil Scantling, owner of Cocoapreneur, which is a Pittsburgh-based black business directory.
Correct.
Well, welcome to House Call.
Thank you.
So I did a little bit of homework and you're everywhere right now. I saw you were on WPXI, you were written up in the city paper, so you got a lot going on.
A little bit.
All right, so tell me where the whole thing started.
Whole thing started. If we're going back to the inception of Cocoapreneur, um, there was a time in our country where it was extremely visible that young black people were being killed in the streets
Yeah.
by police officers mostly. And that kind of started this fire in me about creating a solution for the problem. And for me, that solution was almost kind of backing away from mainstream society and sticking within the confines of black communities where I felt safe.
Okay.
I also decided that it might be helpful to strengthen economically those areas so that we could self-sustain, self-police,
Right.
and not have people come from outside of the community who don't understand the people, who don't know the struggles, who don't know
Okay.
the lives, and just kind of deal with our struggles on our own. And that pretty much started Cocoapreneur.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in other words, the idea is for black communities to kind of close ranks a little bit. Is that fair to say?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
It's more of like if you think about Jewish communities or Little Italy's, China, Squirrel Hills,
Yes.
you have communities who buy within themselves to help
Absolutely.
circulate the dollar amongst the community.
Right.
And that strengthens their community. They don't
Right.
have money leaving the community. They pretty much have services that people from outside of the community like to use
Yep.
and that they themselves can use. That helps them to build things that cater to their culture, and
Right.
that helps them stay not secluded but safe because they know what's around them. So I
Okay.
was thinking the same things for black communities.
Right. Right. And would you say that you weren't seeing that happening in black communities?
Not in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Not in Pittsburgh. And not in a lot of places. Um, I grew up in East Orange, New Jersey.
Okay.
Very black place. Mayor was black. I had black dentists and the teachers, the counselors, business owners. And I think that that really strengthened my sense of self and my
Right.
self-worth,
Right.
But that's not something that I saw in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I came here to go to Pitt in '05, I was culture shocked.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was lost looking
Okay.
for the community. Where are the black people, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
And it was tough. And it's funny because the university tells you to stay away from the Hill District and Homewood. This is back when, before they started gentrifying.
Right.
But yeah, I was looking for this safe space, this familiar place, and Pittsburgh didn't really have that for me.
So you decided based on your experience, based on what you were seeing in the news, that it was time for you to do something. And so you created this business that was designed to basically not only help your community, but help people in your community find businesses that were directed toward them. And you mentioned that you're not from Pittsburgh. This is a Pittsburgh-based business.
Correct.
You're featuring Pittsburgh businesses,
Hmm.
but you're not from Pittsburgh. You came to Pittsburgh for Pitt.
Hmm.
Is that right?
That's right.
Hail to Pitt.
Hell, Pitt.
um, so you studied what at Pitt?
I have a bachelor's in communication with a minor in sociology and
Okay.
a focus in Africana studies.
Okay. So then you're perfect for a little bit of a discussion about something that's kind of in the news today.
Hmm.
Recently, the governor of Virginia was sort of outed, I guess,
Right.
for having photos in his old yearbook that showed someone in with Facebook with blackface,
Correct.
right? And so I've seen a lot of conversations on my Facebook page and on other people's social media pages about blackface and what's the issue, what's going on. So let's pretend I know nothing,
Right.
right? Help me understand what's the problem with blackface.
Okay. Okay. So What tended to happen was with entertainment, white actors and entertainers would dress up in what is called blackface in order to mimic
Yeah.
and demean black people. And it was almost a way of showing them this is how you look to
Right.
us.
Right.
And none of it was flattering.
Right.
They over exaggerated everything. Super dark skin, black skin, literal black
Right.
skin. They
Right.
used shoe polish sometimes for
Right.
this.
Right.
Overdrawn red lips, bulging eyes, which kind of hinted to a buffoonery.
Yeah. Yeah.
People call it cooning. But that's where blackface started.
Right.
And it continued through the 1900s and it evolved in different ways. So you went from people being in the theater, dressing in blackface, making fun of black people, making black people feel small, to going into film. And the first film that you'll see with this is like Birth of a Nation,
Right.
the original
Yep.
one, Birth of a Nation, where it depicts black people as criminals, other caricatures.
Yep.
The Mammy
Yep.
was another one that
Right.
came from blackface.
Right.
So this blackface caricature has a very hurtful past
Yeah.
that is just not gone.
Right.
Where it came from, where it started, what it meant is still here and it's still relevant today.
Right. And so for someone who doesn't understand essentially what you're saying, the message is the history of blackface is problematic, it's hurtful, it's not okay to be used in any way. Because what you'll often see is someone, inevitably every year at Halloween, I see somebody, somebody
time.
got some blackface on, saying, "Oh, I'm dressed up as,
Right.
whatever." And the message is, no, that's not cool.
Right.
Blackface it doesn't work for us.
Right.
You can't use it for your entertainment, even if you think that's a joke now. The history is too deep.
Too deep.
That's what you're saying.
Too deep.
Okay. And so there were calls for this Governor Northam to resign.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Do you resign? Does he have to resign? Well, clearly he doesn't have to resign because he didn't
Right,
resign.
right.
But would you argue that we see a picture of this guy in 1984 in blackface on his yearbook page? Does that merit him needing to resign?
Does that alone merit him? Maybe not.
Okay.
If we're being practical about it, people change, people grow. I don't think he's grown though.
Okay.
Just his follow-up, his response
Yeah.
to the situation
Yeah.
pretty much demonstrated that he
hasn't grown.
He hasn't grown.
Right.
I think he went on to call enslaved people indentured servants.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
completely different thing.
Right. Right.
That comes with a contract. That comes with an end date.
So he's now showing, okay, I haven't evolved.
No.
Right. And I'm glad you brought that up because when I have talked to people about this blackface issue, one of the issues that I have with it, when we're saying someone has to resign or someone is condemned for something they've done 20, 30 years ago, my issue is that my career is built on the idea that people can grow, right? Psychology, counseling, these are all ideas that are based on the fact that somebody is going to grow. If given the opportunity, somebody will grow. And so I think to myself, okay, if somebody dropped the ball completely 30 years ago, right? They did something really, really bad, put themselves in blackface, took a picture, put it in their yearbook. How they thought that was okay 30 years ago, I don't know. But let's say that happened 30 years ago, and then let's say they go get some help. They talk to somebody like me, and they grow. What would it look like? What would they be saying? What would they be doing today to demonstrate that they're not that person? But you bring up a good point. It doesn't look as though some of these people that we're looking. I mean, because we've seen now. There's all these stories coming out now about people. I've seen there were a couple of police officers in Baton Rouge that were they were photographed in black. Now this was interesting because they were photographed in blackface, actually undercover, like pretending to be black people. And so it's kind of like, well, okay. I mean, that doesn't even look right, but whatever. And then I saw Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, both have been recently outed as having used blackface.
Right.
And so, it begs the question, okay, what does reform look like? What does it look like when you've learned from your past?
Right.
I mean, what do you think? What would it look like?
Well, first, I do want to say that these things are very nuanced, right? So there are levels. There is
It's
just
levels to this.
levels.
Okay.
And some people are intentionally racist. Some people are racist by ignorance.
Yeah.
Um, and some people don't mean to portray certain stereotypes or
Okay.
you know.
Okay.
I think the Fallons and the Kimmels, those people are comedians.
Hmm.
They tend to toe lines. And I will even go as far to say they did not exaggerate blackness. They did not,
Okay.
make a buffoonery kind of caricature of the blackness.
Okay.
It's just the connotation that comes with wearing blackface.
Right. Right.
When you're talking about the governor and some of these people are white supremacists. Let's just be
Right.
clear about it.
Right.
Yeah, that was meant to demean and oppress.
Yeah.
That's a psychological
Yeah.
oppression. Um, those people, I don't know if there's reforming them.
Okay.
It just seems like that's a core
Yeah.
value for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some people, I don't know if you reform.
Right.
To demonstrate that you have, though, it would require some sort of action.
Yeah.
Some type of action that remedies what you did.
Right. You getting out in front of it, doing something right,
Address it.
saying something right.
Address it. Talk about why it's wrong. Demonstrate that you
Yeah.
understand why that
Yeah.
was not okay.
Yeah.
Trying to sidestep it, diminish it by
Right.
calling it something softer.
Right.
No, that doesn't help.
Okay.
Doesn't help.
And so you say in your opinion, maybe Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, they get a pass?
Not a pass.
Okay.
Not a pass. But you get more of a chance to explain.
Okay.
And I think that they are close to black people in the sense that they allow black people to be themselves. They tend
Okay.
to give black people creative space when they come to their shows. They tend not to use black people beyond how they use anybody else,
Yeah. Yeah.
sitting and having conversations and allowing them to be. And I think that they do have a certain level of understanding that blackface, what they did was wrong, especially because they do have relationships
Yeah. Yeah.
with black people. Those
Yeah.
people will let you know why that thing was wrong.
And that's a good point. Your body of work does matter, right? So
Yeah.
so Jimmy Fallon, for example, he kind of makes clear that he's an ally to us on some level.
In some, yeah, right.
On some
level, yes.
Okay. But the governor, you say no go.
No.
Okay.
It's a no from me.
It's a no.
It's a no.
From Khamil says it's a no.
Nah, I'm good.
All right. So your business is designed to help black communities, help black businesses. How do we help you? What would someone do that would be beneficial to your business?
My business needs capital.
Okay.
A big part of what I would like to do is provide services and information for businesses, resources
Okay.
that they might not otherwise have access to. I feel like because of our history in this country, some of these businesses are first generation entrepreneurs.
Yep.
When you're talking about mainstream America, middle class America, you do
Right.
have people who are second, third, fourth generation entrepreneurs. They understand the value of being
Right.
a business owner and they understand what comes with it because they've had people pass this information down. We don't all have that same privilege. So the capital, the resources, having people donate their time,
Okay.
donate their services is very helpful.
Okay.
Cocoapreneur will have seminars, workshops, registering people with the state, getting people MWDBE certified so that it could have, larger government contracts.
Okay.
Things like that will happen, and I will definitely need the support of people who can help out with those things.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you'll give us the website so we can put it'll be right here.
Absolutely.
The website will be right here. So that people will go to Cocoapreneur.
Yes.
And see what you've got going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just come visit.
Okay.
It's a fun site.
It's a fun site. Go visit Cocoapreneur. So thank you so much for being here with us on House Call. We appreciate you coming out.
Yay.
So that's it for today on House Call. If you have any ideas for shows you'd like us to talk about, topics you'd like us to talk about, things you'd like for us to cover, go to our Facebook page. Go to Dr. Rueben Brock on Facebook and let us know what you'd like for me to talk about next. We will be back with you soon. We've got an episode on teenagers and marijuana coming up very soon. But for now, that's it for House Call. I'm Dr. Rueben Brock.